The following is a presentation of TFNN.
Hi everyone, Basil Chapman sitting in for Tom O'Brien. My pleasure to be here in the driver's seat on this, always forget, this is a Tuesday, February the 26th. And Tom is away, he's at the BMO meeting, and so I'm right here sitting in the chair. Normally I'd be here as I was this morning, 11 o'clock till 12 Eastern Time, and with my Tiger Technicians Hour and my service here at TFNN, having been here for about, I think it's 8 years. I think it's 8 years, since 1983, since 2003, that is. And I'm just trying to think, 2003, yeah, that's quite a few years. So, the service that I have is called The Opening Call. The Opening Call is a daily, very comprehensive service. We actually we took a lot of profits this past week, and we have just, I think it's 3 stocks long. We have 1 stock short as an index, and we're waiting for a pullback. There are certainly some great stocks to be looking at on the long side, and yes, there are some short stocks. So 877-9276. 877-927-6648 is the number to call, and love to take your calls. Let's go through the numbers. The Dow was up 115. Now, this could be the Bernanke talk today, but it's up 115 to 13,900. Huge move to the downside yesterday. The S&P was up 9 at 1496. Comp index was up 13 at 3129. You've got gold. Let me find. Yep, gold was up 27 at 1649. I was talking on my show about 3 days ago, I believe it was Thursday, and I said I'm getting signals that say that there should be a strong bounce in gold, and one of the reasons why we went along a gold stock for the first time in I just couldn't even remember how long was because it seemed to me from the technicals using the Chapman wave methodology. I'll talk about that a little bit as we move through the show. If you're looking at Tiger TV, you will see different lines, different technical tools, and I'll explain them as I move along. But gold right now is at 16.14. Silver's up 37 cents at 29.36. You got platinum up 1.9 at 16.22. Copper's trying to rebound, is up just a little bit. It's at 3.56. It hasn't been acting very well. Bonds, now this is very interesting because bonds were up a lot more earlier. They're only up 8 cents at 145 and a half. The TLT is at 100 and I believe it's 118.64, down 69 cents. This is going to be a really interesting period. Let me just go through these charts. My methodology, the Chapman wave methodology, essentially looks for the lowest, most identifiable low bar. And if the technicals are in concert and if the price has a potential to move higher, what I expect is a leg A, and that's called a peak. When you make a lower high bar, that's called a peak, and until it does that, it's called a floating ladder. So from the low of the 16th of November at 12,471, you will see that low came in at 12,471.49. The first peak was peak A on the 23rd of November at 13,011. It pulls back, then it makes another peak, another peak, and another peak, and that takes you to D. The objective in the Chapman wave methodology is to get you to at least a peak D. If the technicals are working well, in other words, if the MACD, you see this yellow line here, that's the fast-moving average of the MACD, the moving average convergence divergence, and that red line is the slow-moving average. Look how the distance between the two of them is so wide, and that's a very positive aspect. This low one is called the slow stochastic. I use a technical tool saying that when it's over 80%, that is good. All the technical books say 80% is called overbought. I can't stand that term. It's exactly what you want. It's like you've put it into overdrive because the going is smooth. You're not going up any hills, anything. It's just taking you. The momentum comes in, that's what I call the torque, and the momentum comes in with the MACD, fast moving average. Well, it takes us all the way to the 6th highest peak, peak E, at 13,365 on the Dow on the 18th of December, pulls back to where, now this is a technical tool that I use and I teach in my different classes, and that is the 200-period exponential moving average. When it holds that, it goes to a low on December the 31st at 12,839, and it starts to brand new peak, A, B, C, D. Now, this is a little unusual. In fact, this is one of the most unusual charts that I've seen in the Dow for so long. Thank goodness I had the S&P, the NYA, the New York Stock Exchange, the IWM, all giving me the same indications to say that we should have a very strong, quick pullback, and then we have to assess depending on where the certain technical indicators are. So here we are. We go to a peak F, and then we actually go to a G, which is very unusual. In a chart like this, it goes to 14,058, pulls back, and then yesterday there was that single leg move that went to 14,081, a new recovery high, just off the all-time highs. Do you hear that in the news? Is anyone talking about the fact that the Dow, the S&P, are within a whisker of all-time highs? The IWM has already made all-time highs. You just don't remember the headlines on the way down, big fat letters saying crisis, crisis that. And look at this. We're almost at, and today the low was 16 cents above yesterday's low, and that's an inside bar. So all I can say, the unusualness of this chart says that if the Dow was to climb to 13,964, about another 60 to 70 points higher here, there is a chance that we'll make a new recovery high sooner. Now let's just run through the SPX. Like the SPX made a peak D. That's what you need to go to almost always in the Chapman wave methodology, and that's what it takes you to. Can go higher, as we saw. Goes to peak D at 1530.94 times 2. Both the 19th and the 20th of February had that same high. It pulls back way to a lower low to 1487.85 and 1485.01, a lower low today. The IWM, which is the Russell 2000, goes to a peak F. That's the one that you've got to be careful of, a peak F, and it goes to a peak F at 92.68 on the 20th. Now it's pulling back. You see the MACD and the stochastic? They're still very negative. That says there's a good chance that the consolidation will continue. Well, let's go to our first corner. We've got Roderick in Dallas. Hi, Roderick. How are you?
Hey, Basil. How you doing?
Very well.
Basil, I'm actually looking at TUP, Tupperware, the symbol.
Wait a minute. We can't let this just go by as if nothing had happened. Are there two former South Africans talking to one another here?
Yeah, how you doing, man? How you doing, Basil?
I'm doing well. Gaan goed met you?
Goed, dankie, man.
Yeah, good.
Basil, yeah, how you doing, man?
Yep. So, okay, now this is TUP. I'm going to the white charts. I wanted to use the black background charts because I just think they highlight for the TV what fantastic technology we have here at TFNN. So I'm just switching for the moment to the white background charts because I've got TUP, which is Tupperware. I have this at a possible peak F in the weekly chart. The monthly chart is in leg D. And there are a couple of things going on here. The daily chart is at peak E. Now, normally the first thing that would come out of my mouth is that, I see a potential hat-trick top. Hat-trick top is a top meaning that I've seen a top in the daily, I've seen a top in the weekly, which is usually D, E, or F, and now we're getting in concert the monthly chart, which is usually it could be D, but I usually wait for an E to an F. The fact is that if you've got new home sales up so strongly, if you've got the background, if you've got Pier 1, you've got these other areas of homeware doing strongly, I'm going to say to you, and I'm not going to ask your position yet, I'm just going to give you my analysis. My analysis says that the chart formation I'm looking at in the daily chart says there's a potential for, and I'm not going to explain it in great detail, but if anyone wants to listen to my program in the morning, I usually go into much more detail. But this has got a potential for what I call a stalk leg and a body that's just formed here. It could pull back a little bit, but it should still make one more spike above the 79.94 high. The weekly chart is saying, yes, I'm somewhat overbought, but the long-legged doji, and I do a lot of work with dojis, this long-legged doji between 79.94 and 76.13 in the weekly chart says that I've got to watch that there's a top. Now, hold on a second, and I'll be right back, Roderick. As soon as we get back, Basil Chapman sitting in for Tom O'Brien. Dow's up 115, S&P is up 9. Be right back after these important messages.